O soul, are you weary and troubled? If so, I would like to suggest to you it is time to become a Christian prepper. Nope, not suggesting you buy a plot of land in Montana, a bunch of potable water, and live next door to Glenn Beck. Instead, we should be prepared for persecution because it's a promise. Jesus Christ informs us that those of us who strive to live godly, we will be persecuted. There will be tribulation. There will be trouble. It is not the exception to the Christian rule. We should expect it. And so it is. I would like to suggest to you that we have a book that helps us deal with the subject of persecution. It lays out for us how we are to live when we are experiencing pressure from our culture. Are you prepared for what might come? It looks like it is on its way to Western civilization, once unimaginable. Now it almost seems inevitable. Is your heart ready? Forget about where your money is, stock market accounts. You can figure that stuff out. We want to take a look at preparing our hearts for what might soon be persecution. Are you weary and troubled? Troubled, it is a bit of a junk drawer word used in the New Testament by Jesus Christ himself to let us know that we are prone to being troubled. But he also teaches us there's a good kind of troubled and there's a bad, sinful kind of troubled. These are okay. This kind, it's a sin. John 14:1, Jesus tells the disciples on the night he was betrayed, do not let your heart be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. Seems pretty straightforward, but there appears to be a little bit of a glitch. You see, in John chapter 13, John chapter 12, John chapter 11, Jesus was troubled. Hey, which is it? Don't let your heart be troubled, but then Jesus' heart was troubled. What is happening? What is John teaching us? That there is a non-sinful type of troubling, and there's a sinful kind. Jesus, he taught us by demonstration, by example. It's okay to be troubled when a loved one dies. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to mourn. It's okay to let your heart be troubled. Furthermore, Jesus demonstrates that when you are facing pain, suffering, death, it's okay to be troubled. We're human beings. We have emotions, just like God, who is emotion-filled, but not emotional. That's the difference, perhaps, between you and me and God. We're his image bearers. We have emotions like he does, but his are under control. His are predetermined. They are steady. He is the one in control of emotions. They are not in control of him. Jesus Christ, the God-man, shows us it's okay to be sad when someone dies or to be concerned when the future looks scary. It's okay. Furthermore, Jesus in John 13 shows us that when a friend betrays you, it's like a knife to the heart, and it's okay to be troubled. There is a certain type of troubling. Christian, it's fine. Don't let anybody tell you the Christian should just be stoic throughout difficult seasons. Don't cry. God is sovereign. You're going to go to heaven. Be a flatline Christian. That's just wrong. There is a certain type of troubling that is not sinful. But John 14:1 informs us there is a kind that is, and the verse itself defines it for us. Faithless worrying. That is the type of troubling that should not trouble us. Faithless worrying. That's why he said, don't let your heart be troubled. Believe in me. You see, when our hearts are troubled, when we're biting our nails, when we are freaking out, when there seems to be no hope, I am at a loss. I'm consumed with these repetitive thoughts about what might happen to me and my family in the future. You are exhibiting faithless worrying. In the moment, you are not believing in God. This is not to suggest you're not a believer, but you're not believing in God. Instead, Jesus tells you that you are one of little faith. Remember that phrase? Jesus used it repeatedly in Matthew chapter 6 in the Sermon on the Mount. He tells people who are worried about what they're going to wear and what they're going to eat, that you're exhibiting little faith when it's like, oh, I think I'm going to starve to death and God can't do anything about it. Oh, you of little faith. Then Jesus gives us an object lesson. Just amazing. He does this regularly. Matthew chapter 8. There's a storm and the disciples are freaking out, and Jesus says, oh, you of little faith. Then Jesus feeds thousands of people. Thousands more gather on another day. And what do the disciples do? They panic. What are we going to do to feed all these people? And Jesus says, don't you remember? Have you forgotten what I've done? Oh, you of little faith. Peter is in the boat, sees Jesus walking on the water, thinks, that'd be pretty groovy. While his eyes are on Jesus, he walks on water. When he takes his eyes off, not trusting Jesus, he sinks. And Peter was described as one of little faith. There are two ways you can have a little faith. One is, and they tend to be interconnected, you're putting your faith in a small object. You got big faith, it's just in a puny object. Or you have just a little bit of faith in a great big God. You've forgotten who he is. You have forgotten that he delivered the children of Israel out of Egypt, that he's faithful to his promises, that he has slain Og of Bashan, that Jesus Christ was born at just the right time as God promised. You forget who God is, what he is capable of, what he has promised, and you don't trust him. Either way, we're exhibiting little faith. And then when things start to look a little bit dicey, what do? We freak out. It's just a treadmill of the same thoughts that just possess you, and I can't get out of this. Oh, you of little faith. That is why you and I must become Christian preppers. We must prepare our hearts, good seasons, bad seasons.